I check 1 2 1 2. In the place to be. I was thinking to myself, didn't I say last week this would be like the last walk before I started work? Well, it was, but this is the last one before the kids come back to school, and I'm actually working. All last week we're just doing training, setting up the classroom. I should have took a picture to show you. I got 25 students. The room's kind of cramped. Right at this point in time, it's all stuffy. We don't have air conditioners yet. They bought them. They're gonna put them in at some point. Although it'll be like a month maybe, depending on the weather, where the kids may be, kids, bunch of warm bodies. It's gonna get hot and stanky. It kind of smells now. So I was gonna buy some, I don't know what it is, but when I go to the supermarket, they have like pumpkins and the cones, the tree stuff. I don't know what the smell is, but it smells really autumny. But yeah, but I always want to put this in the beginning. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I hope everyone is good and all that. Hope your summers were good. Hope you're still enjoying your summers. My summer's officially, this is the last 2 days of summer for me. Summer will be in my heart. I am thinking of planning a trip to go to Japan in December, Christmas, which is kind of the worst time to go to Japan, but it's going to be the only time I could take off from work because I'm a teacher. I'm not just any teacher, I'm a homeroom teacher. Homeroom, that means I got a lot of, oh my gosh, the amount of shit that we gotta do, and I've never done it. And the only reason I'm in this situation is because I just have a good track record. I came in there hired as this position, and I just stepped up and did every position. I did it with a smile. I spent my own money. I built a rapport with 90% of the kids. 10%, I didn't really see them like that. So I kind of bypassed a lot of steps. So now I'm in the position of teacher. No training, no nothing. And I'm going to do the teacher certificate in tandem would not be correct. At random wouldn't be correct. In parallel, that could work. I don't want to use that word. Congruently. Yeah. That's good. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a lot of work. So this morning I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to finish? Because I'm still doing my 365. I got 4 more months. So I'm really going to have to wake up in the morning at 4. I do get up at 4, but not sit around and da-da-da-da-da. I just got to pop up, and then I got to do some shit before I go to bed. Maybe my lunch, maybe take a night shower. I like to shower in the daytime, but take that night shower, pack my lunch, and just bang it out. But then the crazy thing about the whole 365, ain't nobody care about that shit. I mean, I saw, bigger, not bigger people, but other people doing it. And by the time they hit 230, 100, they're hitting like 1 million. This is back in the day. Things are a little different now. But the traction is there. I'm losing people because, you kind of know what you're going to get. Now, sometimes if I switch it up, like I did one where I was going to the movies with my friend, and he was all pulling out the camera, so I used that and put it all together. That looks cool. It's different. Other people in it. If I'm in an interesting location. The other one I did, I was up there, but it rained last night, so I don't want to walk through the park. But I was at the park, and this lady came over like, I gotta have a party at 2 o'clock. It was like 11 o'clock. Imagine if I was just popped up there at 1 o'clock. She's like, you got to get the fuck out of here, sir. But so I decided I'm gonna do my freestyle with her in the background doing whatever. And then her friend came up and she's kind of bopping like an idiot. She couldn't hear the music, but she's still bopping. So that, people like that one or whatever. But in general, it's sometimes I put a video, most time I put just a number. Now I do have a couple people who are rocking with me. Every day they be in there and they be dissecting. Oh, you said this. Or they listen to what I'm saying and be like, it'll get better, man. Because a lot of it's turning into the life. My life is not that interesting. Like, I think 2 days ago, I was like, yeah, man, my engine light's on. I got to pay for all my clearances at work. And they're like stressing about it because clearances, there's one that takes like a good 3 weeks. You can't work until you have your clearance. They're telling me now. And then I bounced a check. Not a real check because I don't have checks, but I bounced the check. I guess we still use the colloquialism. But I bounced a check, and so I think I talked about my car was broken, so I bought something, and then I returned it like a week ago, week and a half. And it was supposed to come back into my account and everything would have been cool, but it never came back. They taking their good old time. So everything just kind of... So then I call them up, seeing if they'll reverse it the next day. And they're just like, they explained it. And it was 100% my fault. There's nothing to reverse. Back in the day, they used to give you some of that, but I couldn't even ask for it. And the woman I was talking to, I'm like, I don't understand, because she kept saying, it was just weird, and I kept saying, I had to pull out my calculator. You said this. So yeah, it was a shitty day. So I made a rap about that. And it wasn't like all fancy and all this, just telling you what happened. I'm not bemoaning, just like right now, I'm walking. Basically, it's this. This is my life now. I'm just telling my life. And how that ended the next day, so my job paid me. So here's the other thing. So my job paid me, boom, boom. They gave me a paper check for the back in July or June when I was working. And we're trying to rush about because they're like, if we don't get it paid in this cycle, it's going to be 2 weeks from now. So they gave me a paper check, or I don't know, they wrote me out a check. But I left work at 5 o'clock, or I had to go to therapy and ended at 5. So I couldn't get to the bank. At this point, my shit didn't bounce yet. So you could take a picture of your check, but that takes one whole billing cycle. So by the time I woke up in the morning, the check was deposited, but I already got hit with the thing charges. So just these small, actually I was supposed to have a gig, big gig, paying big money. That was supposed to happen, but it didn't happen. But anyway, so the next day I call them up, they tell me it's my fault. I'm like, well, I got the money, just do what you gotta do. And they did, after talking to them for like good 30 minutes. And then when I went to school, and as I was just walking out the building, the people who handled the child, like the clearances stuff, they happened to be in the building, and I happened to be walking by, and my principal's like, if you still need help with the clearances, go there. So I go over there, and they're like, yeah. And they gave me the little clearance. There's a thing, like companies usually pay for it. Since I'm not employed, I'm a new hire technically. Although I was there last year, it was a little discrepancy. Well, he's a new hire, he should pay for it himself. But the wonderful ladies that were in there, like, well, he was here last year. And they pulled out the little, these stickers you put on. So I long story short, I don't got to pay. And I was like, all right, that's one less thing to worry about. The bulk of my car is just, so I was trying to do what my cousin told me last week, and I was gonna buy another part, but yesterday I was like, let me just bring the car to my cousin to see what he thinks. I brought it over, and he's just like, yeah, you need a catalytic converter. Motherfucker. But that's what's got to be done. And then on top of all that, my inspection is at the end of the month. I don't know if it's gonna come that fast, unless it's premature. But if it comes, I don't know how fast it takes to fix it. So by September, if it's not fixed, then I can't get it inspected, which means I can't drive said car. And I gotta hide it in this lot behind my house so I don't get the boot and all that bullshit. So all that's like weighing on my head, and you see this disposition. I'm smiling, throwing it in wraps here and there. Life goes on. I'll take the bus. Don't want to take the bus, especially on the first day of school. Especially because coming back home, going is okay. I can wake up really early and get there early enough. Coming home, I'm gonna be like, but I already made my mind. Today I'm gonna figure out the scheduling. So all of that, we're at 11 minutes. That's everything in a nutshell, and I'm good. It sucks, but whatever. Oh, and the other thing. So yesterday, the reason I ended up bringing it to my cousin, because the problem escalated. So I'm sitting there driving. I'm like, and then we go up a little hill. And my car was like, but we ain't moving. It's like going at 20 miles per hour. Making all this noise. I don't know what that noise is. And I'd be okay with that, but there's a bunch of motherfuckers behind me all up my ass, just waiting to get the chance to swerve around me and look at me and throw up middle fingers. You know how people are. A couple times I just pulled, like I'm driving. Like you see this kind of, I don't know if you can see, it's a hill. I'm driving and then I end up like turning in there just so they will get off my ass. I had to get off the highway yesterday because there was no way. I assume I could get in an accident if someone swerves, and then I'm trying everything to avoid the big hills in my city. Where I live is called the Valley. There's a lot of hills. But anyway, went to my cousin. You know, he wasn't saying like, he just said avoid the hills. Like he's the mechanic, you know, so he knows. And although I know cars are machines and I kind of like machines and all, I never really cared much about mechanics and cars. But now, since I have one, and they're so intricate, they're like, I'm fascinated. Of course, I still want a Tesla. I think that's even better. But a car is a car, and I have an appreciation because mechanics, a lot of them are scrupulous. You know, you go there like, yeah, you got everything except the front tire. You got to replace it, otherwise you will blow up. How would anybody know unless you go to someone else? And I mean, there was this guy my mom used to go to help out, and he would just charge her the maximum, and then he'd be like, well, you don't got to pay it all at once. You could pay me, because I used to bring the money to him. He seemed like a nice guy, but he was ripping her off. So that's kind of my image of mechanics. But my cousin, you know, when he does stuff for my dad, he's just like, all right, this is what it is, and this is what you should pay me to put it in there. Family discounts and all that. Although I don't want a family discount, but I want to pay him what he's worth, because I can't do it yet. I'll learn. But yeah, so in a nutshell, that's like whatever. And then school, last year I was at the school and I was out the loop. I didn't know shit. Anytime anything happened, I'm just like, what the hell? And then there was other teachers or other helpers who came to the school under the same contract, different company. We were outsiders. But this year, I'm in the know. I'm in today I gotta go through all the emails, and because I'm added to lists, and I gotta make accounts for the books and all that shit. Last year, because I wasn't a teacher, I didn't have the ability to do that. I gotta make a lesson plan. I got so much shit to do. But whatever. We got these smart boards, which I'm excited about. It's like a big ass iPad running Android. What? It's an Android. It has an Android operating system. But, you know, so I can do PowerPoints. That's probably how I'm gonna do all my lessons. Make a PowerPoint, and then We got a new printer in the basement, a nice color, because before it was my job to run across, because middle school, elementary, across the street, run across to make the copies, but there's only one copy machine, so everyone is just there. So now we got our own. I have the whole floor to myself, which is kind of cool. I got all these extra rooms where I could raid them. That's all I was doing this week, raiding the rooms for the good stuff. I felt like Walking Dead, like, we need more berries. I guess they get those from trees, but we need medicine. And I'm like going through things and going through the drawers and digging in the back and, look at this. I found batteries. I found some cookies. 2023, but nevertheless, cookies in packages. They weren't like just out there. Found all these pencils, folders, and then when other teachers would come in, they'd be like, "Where'd you find all this?" So I found it. It was cool. So I'm excited. And I got a really great team. I think I was saying this before. So last year I was out of the loop, and it kind of looked at, so at a teachers meeting we had on Tuesday or whatever, she's like, "Are those people coming back?" Referring to the reading interventionists. Like, we didn't like them. They try to take over our classes, which was a misunderstanding because we were hired and they told us we had to tell them what we want. Now, you know me, I don't tell people what I want. I just do what I want. Maybe the same thing. But in this case, I didn't do anything. I just said, if they're not going to train me or make this situation better, I'm going to sit in the back of the class and practice music, which I did for like a good 2 months and got paid, to the detriment of the teachers. Like, she doesn't do anything. Well, no one told me. Like, it's a big misunderstanding. So they're at this meeting. Are they going to come back and that? And then she's like, well, Mr. Bailey has come back. And they're all like, yay! Because they genuinely, because my way of doing things worked in the sense that I didn't tell them how to do their job. I just sat there and did nothing. But now I'm part of the team. So there's like blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we had one meeting where, it's Thursday meeting, where we talked about, it was like a retreat. We're at a Catholic school, so, you know, there was some religion stuff. And at my table was a Spanish teacher and who's been my buddy since last year. We always talk because we're two foreigners. I can't say foreigners, we're both citizens, but out of the school, we are on that side. So we always talk regardless. But we're at the table, we're talking. And I taught her daughter, so she's telling me how she's doing, blah, blah, blah. And then the office staff came over. So I seen her. She's like an intern. She was an intern, now she's full staff, but I've never talked to her. So we were talking in our group. And it was nice. So getting to know who's going to be working with and blah, blah, blah. But last week, right, I was going home, leaving there at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Because I was just trying to get the classroom and then talking. Maybe I was talking, like the new gym teacher, we were talking for like an hour, just talking. And I was trying my best to get them ready for what the kids are going to be like without saying anything. Just, I said to all the new people, you'll know when you see them. And the benefit of the doubt is summer has come, they grew up, things are different. Teachers are gone, the energies will shift. For my class, 5th graders who are now 6th graders, they were used to getting snacks, little 15-minute snack breaks. And they were notorious for dropping crumbs, cookies, eating gum and all that shit. And it was annoying because it was usually me cleaning it up. And it was hard to police because they'd be like, well, I didn't eat the cookie. I gave it to Tom. Like, well, I didn't eat it. I gave it to Sharon. Like, don't share food. Or some people would steal food. I thought it was for... So I asked the principal. I feel like I said this before. I don't know. But if I did, I asked the principal. She's like, you got to ask the 8th and 7th grade teacher. I asked the 7th grade teacher. She's like, They don't eat in my class. I said, what about water? They don't do water bottles. There's a water fountain on the floor. So I'm confident and comfortable saying on first day of school, I was thinking of doing it this way. I got good news and I got bad news, a pile of both. Good news. So what do you want to hear first? And they could just choose. Good news, we are together. I'm your teacher. I'm a teacher now. Yay. Good news, we got a new classroom. Good news, we got a new touchscreen thing on the ground. Good news, we got new iPads. I don't know which version. I doubt it's going to be Pros, but they got the USB-C. So that's good news. Yay. Bad news, there's no more snacks. Bad news, no more water bottles. Bad news, we don't get, like, the schedule's pretty tight. It's like boom, 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 boom. But I plan to lay the law down on the first day and then move from there. The principal's like, she came into the classroom, she's like, so you're gonna put up poster boards and nice frilly borders for the bulletin boards? And I'm like, what? They'd be lucky if they get a sticker on the wall. And I said, you know what I want to hammer out first is I want these kids to understand the rules of the class, because they were. And then I'm teaching science, so I got to hit them with my Bill Nye and Mr. Wizard. I like science, but I've never taught it, so I gotta like. And she's like, "Are you gonna do labs with them?" Like, what? These kids. I do not trust that I could put chemicals in front of them, turn around to write on the board, and turn back around, and that won't be in someone's eyes or something. Again, they'll be lucky if they get a pasting project. But she understands because she was there, and I mean, she can't force me to do anything. She could just ask, and I could just say, ah. But I'm excited about the challenge, and now that I have access to everything, I'm inside. I'm on the email list. I got phone numbers from the teachers. I don't feel so whatever. And a lot of the new things we're learning, like we have a new like class attendance, whatever. Everyone has to learn at the same time, so we're all lost. But it has a really good PDF. I can get certified, and I might do that on the side, and then by come January be like, yeah, I got certified in the system. More points for me. But yeah, man, so all that is good, and I feel good. I like the way I started, so I start off on all the good points. But I guess it's a sandwich. We're gonna start with the bread. Now, what is bothering me? Oh my gosh. And I can't even, because it's family shit, so I can't be all like, you know. But I mean, I'll say this part. So every morning I get up, I go to my dad's room, I say good morning. He says good morning. He said, how are you? It really doesn't matter what I say. I can say, I'm sad. He's just gonna be like, that's good. So now I ask, how are you doing? It doesn't matter. Usually he's gonna say, bad. I don't ask why, but sometimes you're not gonna ask me why. So now I just kind of, and then he'll say whatever it is. And it'll be what's wrong today? The garbage truck didn't come yet. I mean, they'll come. They're not on no strikes the best, because we watch, the news is always on. We would know if they're on strike. I don't know their scheduling, whatever, blah, 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 but that's nothing to be worried about. They'll come. Or sometimes he talks about the winter. Oh, the winter's going to be coming. But it's not winter yet. It's summer. Enjoy the summer. So it's just like, I got to go. I can't avoid this, because I just can't. And so today, he was saying something, and it's just like, the fuck? Because in my family, everything is just like a whole big misunderstanding, miscommunication, which I inherited. It's my legacy. People say, why? It's like people in my family don't use their words. Like my dad is this one, which I don't get. Good morning. He'll say something like, someone will say, do you want this potato? Or better yet, I went off to the farm the other day, right? And she's like, do you want these tomatoes? And I'm like, I don't want them, but maybe my dad is. So I take her 3 tomatoes and I give it to my dad. He's like, he takes them. And then, whatever. So then today or yesterday, I was digging around in the cupboard, and I saw these 3 tomatoes sitting by themselves in the dark. Now, I guess maybe, because most likely he's going to forget about them and they're going to rot inside of this little closet. And it's like, well, if you didn't want them or didn't use them, don't hide them. Do something with them or say, I don't want them. Now you say, but my dad likes tomatoes. He cooks with them. So that was my reasoning for taking them to my dad. But, and also because he was saying he didn't get a ripe one yet. So I was going to bring 3 ripe ones because the farm is way out there. So maybe the weather things, whatever. But just things like that. And then after the person gives it to him, he'll say, why did they give it to me? Because you accepted it. Me, I learned very early. I mean, I guess my time in Japan is kind of like, I don't want it. Do you want some green tea? No. You want some ocha? No. You want some matcha? No. I do not want it because it's going to sit in front of me and you're going to just let it be known I don't want it. Oh, Matthew, you're so difficult. Why am I difficult? I'm letting you know. And apparently, I learned after the fact, my therapist would say this is setting boundaries. But every time I set my boundaries, people give me the speech. Oh, Matthew, you're so difficult. You gotta learn to adapt. You gotta be flexible. No, motherfucker, I'm setting a boundary. You gotta learn to don't step over it. And then people step over my boundary, so I have the right to nuke, to use excessive force. You stepped over, and it's not just a little rope, it's a wall. I put up a wall with a door and a window and the signs saying, do not enter. And you enter and booby traps and your head gets chopped off and you say, why are you so mean? And now I know it sucks because most people don't know me that way, especially in this format. I'm just blah, 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 blah. And then you could say, but you seem like such a nice guy, which I always hear. Not you. I mean, just last year, it's been a while, man. 2 years ago, I'm working in Japan, and the teacher's just like, oh, Matthew, you're so kind with the kids. You're such a good guy. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Yes, I am kind, and yes, I am nice, but if for some reason we have some situation, I'm not going to be nice. That makes no sense. Why would, I'm pulling back my punches, holding back my punches? Because for what reason? But and it's hard to say this because it sounds weird. Yeah, I'm a nice guy, but if you piss me off, I'm gonna burn down your house. And I tried different variations. I used to start off with, I'm difficult. It doesn't work. I used to start off by giving people situations where the response that I gave was that. Didn't work. Wait and see. Didn't work. Because I get the, oh my gosh, I didn't think you would do this. So now, this stage I'm at, I'm quick to cut. I don't want to die in the street today. Not today. But I'm quick to cut shit off. Nip it in the bud. Because I just don't want to go through it, Don't want to deal with it. So that looks like I just don't talk. I don't use my words. I just don't be in that situation. So I don't want to walk through the wet grass. I just tone shit down. Go along with the ride. And my therapist, she's all like, you gotta speak your mind and you gotta. But history has shown that it doesn't turn out very well for me. Because we all come from different places, you know? So again, the back end of the video, so my dad was saying what he was talking about, and then he said something like, he has nobody, and I'm there, like I'm standing there, like you were telling nobody, and like I can't depend on anybody. Like I ain't ever failed you. I mean, last week this happened. He said, can you go to the store to get me some fluorescent lights for the thing? So I'm about to get the keys and go off to Walmart. He said, don't go now. Go when you have time. Well, I'm not doing anything. I have time right now, because if I don't do it now, life's gonna happen. And then, so now my car is all janky. I need to get new shirts, because I've been wearing this shirt for like the past 7 years, 8 years from Japan and shit. So I want nicer shirts, black shirts. I'm going all black. But so now I really can't. I mean, I could take a bus, but the situation changed. So it's kind of like, well, he's like, how come you didn't get the lights? So if it comes up, he's like, why didn't you get the lights? I'm gonna say, because you told me not to go right now, which will probably start an argument. But shit like that, man. And it's like, I know people give therapy a bad rap. I mean, I did. Well, yeah, I did. I don't go no damn therapy. And usually, in general, you talk to your friends. You talk to your girlfriends. You talk to your boys. You might talk to your coach. Or whatever, you're talking. So that is a form of therapy, whether you want to believe it or not. The issue is, and not saying that therapy is immune to this, but if you're talking to your boys, yo man, my girlfriend's mad at me. He's like, what'd you do? She caught me cheating. And your friend also cheated on his girlfriend or whatever, that kind of thing. And they're probably gonna say, well, you know, women, man, you can't live with them, you can't live. That's not, like, I'm the worst. Don't ever tell me about those, like, across the board. Be like, yo man, I punched this guy in the face and I broke my wrist. Now I can't. Why'd you punch him in the face? Because he was talking shit. Why don't you use your words, sir? Like, that's a reaction that didn't have to happen. Now that you are in it, because, like, but you, people don't like that. But yeah, my point is, so at least from the therapist I have, now she is kind of swayed by my storytelling. You know, I tell my stories, whatever, and but I can say whatever I'm gonna say, and she's not reacting. Like, I hate when people say this to me. They say, can I ask you a question? In a conversation. Why waste that extra 3 seconds? Just get into it. Matthew, da-da-da-da. Or, can I ask you a question? Before I can answer, you get into it. I'll think, why did you put that? But, because realistically, you say, can I ask you a question? And I could sense that it's going to be a stupid-ass question, or a question I do not want to answer. I'll tell you no. I've done this before, and they say, well, I want to ask you anyway. Then why did you preface it? You know, like shit like that. Just, so I told the therapy, and she's just like, yeah, can I ask you a question? I know you hate that, but, and then she asked me, are you looking for love? Are you trying to get married? I hate that question too. Because since I've been home, I've been going out and meeting people and trying all the things that people do these days. I tried social app dating. That don't work for me. I tried going out to to different venues and places. And I meet people. I am meeting people, but go back to point wherever I was talking about. It just ends so weird. Here, I'll run through them real quickly. Let's see. First person I met when I came back, she was a scammer. It ended that way. She's like, "Can I have some money?" Hell to the no. Click, boom, gone. Next person comes up. I thought we had a connection because she said, "I read books about therapy." I'm like, "I'm taking therapy. Works." But then I said something to her one day and she said, "How could you say that to me? It hurt my..." And this is after weeks of talking, and we finally met, and it just, "How could you..." So to save and salvage, I said, "I'm sorry. I didn't intend for you to believe." But what I really felt, how fucking stupid are you? Grow the fuck up. But I didn't say that because whatever. But it just spiraled out. Boom. Next person I met, everything had it's like, "Well, this is how I do it. And how you do it is weird." And I just went along with it. Okay, I know I'm kind of weird. I say it to myself. So let me try it your way. And I would say, "Hey, can you try it this way?" Like, but that's weird. So it was like a one-sided thing. And that went on. Like, for example, she lived way down there, like an hour and a half. And I lived we're an hour and a half away. So I'm like, let's meet up. So I picked a place that is 20 minutes from her house, and I was the hour and 10. I get there on time. She shows up a half an hour late. Shit like that. I didn't say anything because I'm trying to make it work. Whatever. Shit happens. Or this one, same person. And I'm sure I talked about this, but I'm just trying to paint a picture. She told me where she lives. So on her birthday, I sent her a gift. A little bear and some chocolate and whatever. And then when the day came, she's like, "Did you send me something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I sent it to the wrong house. That's not my address." Now I'm like, what the fuck? Now, it's her birthday, mind you, so I'm not trying to start no shit, but I'm thinking, why the fuck would you tell me the wrong address? So then it finally just comes to a head. She's like, "You seem different. What's wrong?" As if I'm supposed to forget that. And she's like, "Well, I didn't tell you because of security reasons. I don't know you." Mind you, we're gonna meet. Well, you didn't know it, but we were planning to meet for a date 2 days later. So what's the difference? Now I can't say this because now I really sound like a psychopath. But so you told me the wrong address, so I don't go there. You're safe. But I'm in person with you. How do you know I don't? But I didn't say that. I'm thinking it because I know maybe younger me would have said that. But we finally ended on, I was telling her about family shit. And she's like, "Well, I wouldn't care because, like, in my mind, I didn't say it, but like, how the fuck can you tell me how to respond to my family when you never met my family, when your family," and she came, so it ended that way. Boom. Another person came, and the whole time we're sitting there, she came down to Easton. She came an hour towards me. So she comes down and she's just like, "I'm so nervous. You make me feel nervous. I'm so nervous. I didn't do anything." Nah, I can be intimidated. But it's not like I was like, well, she didn't say those words, but she just gets, I'm like, for what? Because at this point, we were talking for a good 2-3 weeks. So then she turns around to go to her car. I go to my car, and then we never talked after that. I met some random person at the bookstore. Never talked after that. So anyway, point is, I'm out there trying to do what it do, and it's just all doo-doo. Straight doo-doo. Now I think about this. And then there's this one. So those ones, they all happen online. People I met on Tinder and OkCupid. So my feeling is, and part of me is saying, well, yeah, that's it. The other part is saying, you never know. So I met some people who met their whatever, and they got married. I met a couple of people in real life, not online stories. I met them. I'm like, "Where'd you meet?" Like, "Don't laugh. We met on So I know it can work, just doesn't work for me. There was a person I did meet in person, so no online shit. We met in person, we started talking, and it ended with, again, I had some family issue, so I wasn't in my ganky, happy self, and she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, don't really want to tell her, but you gotta let people know. So I said, my dad and I, because last year was worse, my dad and I were just not, now we have a system. It's a bad system, it's a system, and it's better than last year's system, but nevertheless, it was not a great system. Like right now, I'm on a walk. I said, Dad, I'm going for a walk. He's like, all right, see you later. Last year's like, why are you going for a walk? Why? But like, why the? No, I can't swear. I've seen a couple kids who swear at their parents. Wow, never seen that in my family, because jail time would be coming after that for the parent. I don't even know, but anyway, I digress. But so yeah, I'm telling her, and she's, well, you know what you should do? You should do it. And again, and there's that pattern. Unless you are like in there, like I can't tell anyone how to raise their kids because I don't have kids. Can't tell anyone how to deal with psycho partners because I've never attracted psycho partners. I scare them off pretty easily because of how I am. Like, oh, this guy's too much trouble today. He ain't gonna let me gaslight him. Because I have a memory like, they say elephants. I don't know if elephants have a long memory, because didn't Horton, the little thing, he couldn't remember this, anyway. But yeah, like I'll sit there and record whole conversations, or I'll put that on the table. I mean, sometimes, at one time I was, but anyway, so you're not gaslighting me on, but I said, the fuck you did. Anyway. But it ended like that. So she was just kind of like, well, she said these 3 things. She said, I can't read you. You're hard to read. I'm like, why are you trying to read me? Listen to me. I said, do not do this, and you're doing it. That's why I'm doing this. I even brought up, didn't I say it? Because now 40-year-old and up is trying to use everything I learned. I'm like, listen, I was pretty clear that I don't want you trying to fix my life with your 3-second assessment of a 2-second story that I condensed just to get you in the know. So she said, I can't read you. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Then to save face, I said, I'm sorry you can't read me, but that's just how I am. And then she just continued, and then she threw on, she had trauma in her life, and like, why don't you, like for the most part, I let people know from day one, this is me. She's telling me day 78. Why don't you tell me that from day one? Baby, I would have. And then the last one, we're talking, we met, blah, blah, blah. And again, the same kind of, I'm so surprised when I met you, you weren't like this, but now you're like that. Like, I'm the same old me. Like I tell people, she had my YouTube channel. I'm like, can I see it? I'm like, I just talk about old girlfriends and blah, blah, blah. Right there's a research. That's the manual. Not that I would want anyone to be like, well, when you were dealing with X-File .377, you did this, and clearly it would be interesting, that level of detail and research, which I probably would have been swelled. Like, wow. But then I probably would say, I want a manual about you, put up some stuff. But, so yeah, I have been trying. And I haven't given up. I'm still, so I was telling my therapist last week, I just need to figure out where to meet people. On these walks, I meet people with their dogs. But I'm not going to be, oh, cute dog. My name is Matthew, by the way. People do that, but I don't want to do that. There's not many people at my work, and I wouldn't be dating anyone from work. I think I mentioned it before, but there's this bowling thing every Wednesday. Two guys, 2 girls. So that's a kind of place. I'm gonna try it out, see how that works. The open mics, music related events, are also weird because I guess that's I don't know if it's the sandwich. So family stuff would be in the middle. It is hard. We are not communicators. We don't use our words. We're not fair with each other. Like at my retreat at work, there's a thing about forgiveness. It was like, who have you forgiven? How did it feel? Blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't answer the question because I don't technically forgive, in the sense that I ain't about, and I couldn't think of how to answer that question. Forgive. I forget. But I don't know if I forget, because in my experience, people continue to do whatever it is that you forgave them for, in my experience. So you're supposed to, how does that work? I mean, if someone says they're going to do something for me, of their own throat, hey, Matt, I'm going to do this for you.